wild ride. Final four as last season, which delivers us another Melbourne Derby semi-final series. Last season it went all the way to the final buzzer of Game 3. The Flyers claimed a one-point thriller to progress to the grand final. Two great rivals with a history of heartstoppers. It's the Southside Flyers and the Melbourne Boomers. Game 1 of the semi-final series starts now. Good evening everyone, welcome to the Cygnett WNBL semi-finals. Thanks to Foot Locker. Jason Bennett alongside Laurie Chiswick and Tessa Lavey for Game 1 of the Melbourne Derby semi-final series. Tessa, great to have you with us. The Boomers, as we mentioned in the opener, they're an all-or-nothing team. Their best is good enough to beat anyone, but they can lose to anyone.
Absolutely, and thanks, Jace. It's really good to be here, but you're right. Boomers, you don't know what you're going to get with them, but come finals time, there's no doubt in my mind they'll be ready.
Laurie, the Flyers' upward trajectory in the back half of the season means their form line coming in is pretty good. They've had a heavy schedule, but they look to have all the tools.
Well, they are the best shooting team in the competition right now, but they're up against the best defensive team in the Melbourne Boomers. So they've worked really hard at moving the ball quickly, playing with pace, good balance of an inside and outside game, and they are going to have to bring that and more tonight to get it done.
We take a look at the season series between these two teams. They played 3 games throughout the home and away series, and the Boomers actually claimed that series 2-1, but all 3 of those games were tight affairs. The Flyers were within 4 points in the final minute of both those first couple of games. Then Southside claimed the most recent meeting 5 weeks ago by a couple of points, but the Boomers actually led that one in the final quarter. So there's been nothing between these teams all year. And as we saw last season, when the semi-finals go all the way to the final buzzer, these two great rivals going head-to-head, anything's possible. Tessa, in semi-final basketball, you expect the physicality and the pressure to both go up. Players are going to have to adjust.
Yeah, they are. And I think all the teams know this pre-season now is done. Finals, it's a totally different ball game, and I'm really excited to see what happens tonight.
Let's welcome in the 4th member of our commentary team this evening. Candy Hertz is courtside. And Candy, it's a Southside home game, but you're at the Boombox.
Let me help make a bit of sense of this for you. So unfortunately, the State Basketball Centre is going through some renovations at the moment. So the Flyers have lost their normal home court. So the Boombox is where they will call home for the 3-game series that this might go towards. What they have done, though, and is a very kind gesture, is they've said they're happy to play the role of the away team. So what does that mean? It means that you'll see them sitting in the away benches, and behind the scenes, you'll also know that they're going to be in the away rooms. But it doesn't matter whose home game it is, really, because with the Melbourne Derby, we expect to see both teams having fans in the crowd cheering them on. Let's talk about the actual teams though tonight. So from the Boomers, and good news is that Tera Reid has been out with concussion protocol for some time, but she has passed the test and is back in now for this game. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for their star forward, Penina Davidson. Her calf is still causing her some trouble, so she is out for this first game of the finals. You might have seen that she was actually warming up with the team, but that's as far as it goes for today. The good news is hopefully she might make her way back in for the rest of the final series. We'll try and chat to her throughout tonight's broadcast. When it comes to the Southside Flyers, the good news for them is they are full and strong and a healthy team. They're just a little bit weary because they had 3 games in 6 days over the final rounds of the WNBL, so they've had really light training sessions, but they've got even extra energy in the team tonight because some milestones are being celebrated. Congratulations to the 150th game that will be played by Maddie Rocci, and to Coach Chambers, who's hoping for a win for her 350th game as head coach in the WNBL. Congrats, Coach.
Yeah, fantastic achievement. Just the 5th coach to 350 games in the WNBL. Well done to Cheryl Chambers. Well, Southside entered the finals with the best form line of the 4 teams, Laurie. They also have a distinct size advantage over the Boomers without Penina Davidson and no Meg McKay, who was signed after the cut-off date, so she's ineligible for finals. So what do you make of the Battle of the Bigs?
Oh my goodness, there are some wonderful names on that board right now. And Tessa, if you look at the numbers, the fact that Melbourne aren't as tall, but they exceed the Flyers in points and rebounds when you look at those players. Melbourne are the best rebounding team in the competition, and they are going to have to make that to their advantage tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Melbourne do really well, they move the ball, they know they're undersized, so they go in and they put that extra effort in to get those rebounds. Yes, sometimes they're a bit scrappy, but sometimes that works.
And their offense comes off their rebounding, Tessa. That was what Cheryl Chambers was telling us in the lead-up. If you can keep them off the boards, they struggle to score in the half-court.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key to the Boomers today is that their defense creates their offense. If they get bogged down in the half-court, they may struggle today.
We've talked about the bigs, Laurie, but geez, there's some exciting, speedy, skillful guards in this game as well.
Oh my goodness, for Southside, if you look at Rocci, who we mentioned played her 150th, and Leilani Mitchell, what a great 1-2 punch. Both can handle the ball, they can push tempo, and they can score. And then you've got Beck Cole starting, but also Dickey coming off the bench. What a formidable guard rotation that the Flyers have.
So we open the next chapter in a storied rivalry. It stretches all the way back to 1992 when the Dandenong Rangers met the Bulleen Boomers for the first time. The perfect way to tip off the 23-24 Cygnett WNBL finals. Game 1, best of 3 series for a spot in the grand final. The Flyers and the Boomers at the Boombox on ESPN's WNBL finals. Thanks to Foot Locker, the winner to face the winner of the Townsville-Perth series, which tips off tomorrow night. Melbourne and Southside, and away we go. The Flyers will come up with first possession. Mitchell works with Rocci. Mercedes Russell, named in the all-first team. Stripped by another lady who was Jordan Canada to Conti.
But a great start from Melbourne, a steal, really good active hands, and then a nice push and a finish.
Rocci works her way through some traffic. Can't finish. Important board. There's the battle of the rebounds, and Mercedes Russell throws it away. Leilani just keeps it alive. So Amy Rocci starting in the rotation tonight for Melbourne. And another rebound there for Southside. Jackson, Rocci, Cole, short. They'll get another look. Beck spins through. Too much traffic. LJ from deep.
That's the way she wants to start. That's her favorite spot. Spotting up at the top of that three-point arc.
Rocci, Hillman, Conti, Canada, back to Mon. And Mon's on early. Good early strike from Mon Conti, who was 2 for her last 13 from long range. That'll be great for her confidence. Inside ball to Jackson. Can't finish. And there's that scrap under the hoop. We spoke about pre-game. Hillman putting her body in position. Loose pass from Rocci, picked off by her sister-in-law. Away comes Maddie. Runs into Conti. Jackson to Cole. Mitchell Russell, look at the size advantage he has on Froling. It's picked off by Conti again.
What great anticipation by Mon Conti, just reading that skip pass.
Rocci, Canada. Good ball movement early here from the Boomers. Hillman wants to put it on the floor against Russell. What a battle that's going to be. Hillman versus Russell. And Conti draws the foul on Cole. What do you make of the early minutes, Tessa?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed what Melbourne are doing. They're playing a really up-tempo style of game, and that's going to suit them. They need to keep it up.
They do. I agree. I think that's one of their weapons, is that they can play, they can test the defensive transition of Southside.
Hillman. Canada knocked away. Rocci wanted the call, doesn't get it. Remains a Melbourne ball. Canada puts it up and drains it. The league MVP, the Susie Batkovic medalist.
Didn't she look comfortable coming off of that screen and just pulling up mid-range jumper?
Russell, Mitchell from the stripe. Drop. And away comes Froling.
The last 3 meetings, Canada's averaged double figures.
Started well here. Hillman works with Conti. And she travels. So the active hands early of Conti and Canada, Laurie, you've always got to be on high alert when you're playing the Boomers.
Well, that's it. And the pressure that they put on the guards, and they need to, because they need to try and stem the flow of the guards being able to pass it inside easily. So active hands. See, now Bet Cole's having to think about Canada, but she was still able to make that great pass inside to Lauren Jackson.
2-point game, 3 minutes gone in the semi-final. Game 1 of this best-of-3 series at the Boombox. Hillman coming off a spectacular weekend. 35 points, 9 rebounds for Nas. Canada finds some room, doesn't finish. And away comes Rocci. Jackson. Mitchell fends off Canada, draws a crowd, back to LJ. And Russell reads it nicely off the rim. Mitchell. Jackson from the corner. That won't go, and away comes Conti. Froling. Amy Rocci. Guarded by Cole. Inside Froling versus Jackson. She's forced out of bounds. Southside ball.
Great defense by LJ, really cutting off that baseline and forcing her to go out of bounds. She had nowhere to go, and that's exactly what you want to do. Cut that baseline drive off.
Mitchell to Cole. Thought about the inside to Russell. Look at the pressure there from Canada. Canada versus Cole. What a scrap. Jordan all over her. Here's Mitchell. Rocci versus Rocci.
Wow, I love the matchups of those guards out there. All 3 of them.
Canada just floats forward. Conti again. Not this time. Hillman scraps. Wins it under the hoop. Keeps it alive. Melbourne ball. On versus Maddie. Floats to no one.
You think there's a few nerves out there, Tessa?
Absolutely. I was just thinking she just needed to pass it up to the wing and get a little bit of a better angle, because Froling did have a mismatch on the inside then.
We approach the halfway point of this first term. Cole under pressure. Will gather just in time. Rocci versus Rocci again. Wants to step around Froling. Gets to the rack, can't finish. Ball in dispute, and away comes Amy. Got Hillman in support. Nas wasn't expecting it. Now Canada. Maddie Rocci with the defensive duty. Hillman to Conti, who manages to shake Mitchell. Changes her mind at the last moment, and Froling drains it.
Is that where you go? That's a good change of mind there to hit Froling wide open at that elbow area.
She knew what she was doing, right?
Jackson to Mitchell. Conti with the speed to get in front of her, and Leilani just shoots it straight over the top.
Interestingly, in this first 5.5 minutes, I've seen more pull-up jump shots than I have in a lot of games. You know, both teams are looking to try and get their feet in the paint.
Rochi to Canada, change of direction. Little hesitation move was beautiful. Just put the defence to sleep momentarily. Jordan Canada up to 4 points. Ponte has 5 for the Boomers. Rochi, Cole, Russell puts it on the floor, wants to use a size advantage, and draws a foul.
That's one thing that both teams, probably more so Melbourne than Southside, they need to be really conscious of their foul and their foul discipline. We know that Melbourne, without Davidson coming in that rotation, and I would think that even if Tara Reid is playing, she may be on restricted minutes, so they're going to have to make sure they keep their hands out and play clean.
Nice inbound play. Cole comes up with 2, reduces the margin to 2. Froling. Amy Rochi from long range, she's good.
She recognized where her defender was. Nice wide open shot.
Mitchell wants to blow past Froling, kicks it out. Rochi, Russell, there's Leilani, bobs up again and drains it.
She needs such little time to shoot that, Tessa. She just catches it in rhythm and lets it fly.
Ponte, entertaining opening term as you'd expect between these two teams. Melbourne look on tonight. Good early signs for them. Ponte, Canada, on the buzzer. Good from Froling.
How is that over the outstretched hands of LJ?
Mitchell inside to LJ. Out to Russell. Beck from the corner. And she responds.
That was that ball movement I was talking about earlier. Just really quick ball moving, catching the defense off track.
Absolutely. They got it inside, outside, and then a wide open 3.
Amy Rochi to Froling. Good early signs for the Boomers from long range. When they can get their 3-point game going, they look so much more dangerous. Canada, deep 2. Russell tidies it up. Cole brings it down the floor. Russell back to Beck. Looking for a screen. Gets the handoff, steps inside. Nice pick and roll action. Can't finish. It's still there for Rochi, and she does. Comes up with 2 more.
I'm going to say the smallest player on the court got that rebound. I think she might be the smallest.
Canada has it. Jordan 168, Rochi 169. So towers over Jordan Canada.
That's exactly what we spoke about pre-game with Froling, trying to take the other bigs off the dribble as much as possible.
Goes herself and draws a foul on Amy Rochi.
I like how both teams are really mixing up their shot selection. So we just saw a drive there by Beck Cole. We saw in the previous possession Froling take it off the dribble and attack the rim as well. Then we've had some good 3-point shooting. So that's when it becomes hard to defend. What is a team going to do? What is their focus point?
Boomers 72% from the field right now. They're 8 from 11. 7 for 17 of the Flyers. As Beck misses her first. She knew that was no good from the moment it left her fingertips. She heard the groan. She adjusts and makes the second.
She's an 88% foul shooter, so she wouldn't want to make that second shot.
Just her 4th miss of the season. She was 22 of 25 coming in. It's a 2-point game. Rochi looking to harass Canada. Jordan with the acceleration and then kicks it out. Knew she had Blitzard, started on the bench tonight. Can't get it to drop. So her shooting been a bit of a problem. 2 of 21 from the field in her last 3 games. Carly Ernst into the mix. Mitchell probing. Turns it over. Tara Reid into the game. Great to see her back after clearing concussion protocols. She draws a foul on Rochi.
Good way to start when you step on the court and you're able to get a good stop defensively and then take it up the floor all the way. And it's good to see that she attacked her and didn't make a pass. We see Christy Wallace step on the court as well. So that'll be good for Reid's confidence to get a look at the basket from the foul line.
Provides a different mix to their guard combination too, Tessa. At 182 centimetres, she's a little bigger than the others.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's like similar to Sarah, and so she can actually play 3 through to 5, which is exactly what Chris would want, the flexibility there.
Boomers by 4. Approaching the final minute of this opening term. Mitchell to Potch, who's into the game. Both teams so strong off the bench. Nadia. Late change of mind there from Rochi, and Boomers able to slap it clear, but it'll remain a Southside ball. Terrell Reid had a great season in her first year in the WNBL, averaging 8 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of assists. As Tessa mentioned, just a bit of flexibility, can fill multiple roles.
So you see there, Chris made a sub. As soon as Jackson came in, Hillman came back in. So I'm seeing that's his matchup today.
Ernst, great hook shot from Carly Ernst, drops. Good follow-up work from the veteran. Of course, won a championship at the Boomers a couple of seasons ago. Hillman. Amy Rochi. Tough shot. Won't quite finish. Melbourne ball. So Naz Hillman coming off a spectacular weekend, but yet to really have an impact. Yet to put up a shot, Laurie.
She's gotten a couple of good offensive rebounds, and that's what she's, you know, gosh, she's known for that. She's the best offensive rebounder in the whole competition.
Christy Wallace get going. She turns it over with an offensive foul. Third game back after a long absence for Christy Wallace. Tessa coming into the game tonight. 1 for 12, none for 8 from three-point range. Just needs a couple of early ones to drop.
Yeah, she does. I have no doubt that Wally's mindset coming into this game is almost like a free shot. There's no expectations on her, just to have a go, and I think that's where she'll play her best basketball.
So 2-second differential between shot and game clock here for Southside. Ernst puts it on the floor against Blitzarves. Rochi, deep 3. Rattles around. Time for Melbourne to come back the other way. Blitzarves loses the handle. Well done, Ernst just needs to get a pass off. Jackson at the buzzer. Not quite. It's still there. It's quarter time. Waved away. Quarter time in the boombox. Game 1 of this best of 3 semi-final series. It's Melbourne 21, Southside 19 on ESPN's WNBL Finals. Thanks to Foot Locker.
I love playing under Cheryl Chambers. She was actually my under-19 World's Gems coach. I feel like it's sort of a family relationship. She was an ex-player, so she understands what players need. I think she's very safe space, very trusting. And for me to have someone like that who backs me and is super special because that doesn't happen all the time.
Cheryl Chambers, just the 5th WNBL coach to 350 games, thrown another 261 as a player. What an incredible contribution she's made to Australian basketball. We congratulate her on that magnificent achievement. And Candy was in her quarter-time huddle.
Yeah, the message for this quarter is just to keep going inside and really focus on those rebounds. Maddie Rocci has sat back down, but they did say to her that she's had some great D on volley, which was a big part of their scout.
Thanks, Candy. Second term from the boombox. Melbourne by 2.
That was a nice little crossover back into the middle of the key and down, straight down the keyway to the basket. Tara Reid. When I was in China commentating and Tara Reid was there playing with New Zealand, she had a sensational tournament, and it was just that she got concussed in that last game against Puerto Rico, and it's great to see her back now with the Melbourne Boomers.
This is the second. Ernst comes up with it. Away comes Mitchell. Potch. Dickey into the game. Receives it back from Jackson. Can't get it to go. Away comes Sarah Blitzarves. Former Southside flyer. Wallace. Hillman. Back to Christie. Needs this. Front iron. Mitchell almost Blitzarves. Ernst to Potch. Wants to take on Reid. Does it nicely. All class from the youngster.
That's for sure, and she's just growing every season that we see her, and this year in particular, her poise, her defense, as we saw there, just her ability to finish and make better decisions, understand the game.
Wallace, well done, Blitzarves, read it well, keeps it alive for Melbourne. Amy Rocci against Mitchell. Amy goes herself. Tough finish, and she gets it to go. Ernst tries to put it on the floor and bring it up the court. It's a scrap. It's a jump ball. Southside will keep possession. Carly didn't like the call.
Don't you love the expressions on their faces after a call? Like, seriously, referee?
I always think to myself, I really hope that when I was playing, that I wasn't up there doing something silly, you know?
Never, Laith, never.
Thanks, Laurie.
Rocci. Ernst gets rid of Blitzarves, who goes down and stays out of the way. Carly comes up with the points. Back to a one-point game. Amy Rocci almost throws it away, but Hillman there to tidy it up. Wallace versus Dickey. Hillman with the screen. Blitzarves for 3. Misses the lock. Rocci, lovely find. Potch open, and the Flyers lead.
Chris Lucas will not be happy with that defensive transition. That's something that he's really focuses on and prides his team, team in being a really great defensive team right at the beginning.
Reid, nice. So efficient, Tara Reid. Boomers back in front. Rocci. Dickey, baseline, responds. They're going basket for basket.
As you would expect in a semi-final game, Jace.
We're 3 minutes into the second term and yet to have a timeout. These two coaches just letting them play. Blitzarves to Reid. Wallace waits, she goes the other side. Sarah finds space up the middle. That'll be good for her confidence. Boomers back in front. Rocci into Hillman.
Great take by Rocci, just trying to get downhill there wasn't much in transition, but if they set up that screen and set it really well, Rochi can make things happen.
Melbourne have made some subs now. We see that Jordan Canada's back on the floor, running that point, running the team. Monconti's back, and Frawling. I'd have to say 3 big names back on the floor.
Dickey just grazes the iron, and Reed lets it bounce out of bounds. Anything can happen when these two great rivals take each other on at the best of times, let alone in cutthroat basketball. We saw that last season. Went all the way to the final buzzer of Game 3.
That was incredible.
What a game. One of the best we've seen, Laurie.
Yeah.
Off the hands of Mercedes Russell.
And the interesting thing was it was Leilani Mitchell who took that last shot, and she was playing for the Boomers last year, and this year here we see her on the court for the Southside Flyers, and who knows, it might be her taking the last shot for them.
And Monconti and Amy Rochi and Sarah Blitzarves were all on the other side. They were all at Southside last year in that thrilling win. Rolling the inbound to Hillman. Yet to have a big impact on the score sheet now. In fact, yet to take a shot. Conti's taken a few. And away comes Potch. Rochi to Russell, to Cole. Deck against Conti. Nice cut through from Maddie Rochi. Russell out to Potch. Good ball movement. Froling couldn't take it cleanly. Southside don't like the call. Looked to come pretty cleanly off Froling. The ref must have thought it raised something. They've made the change now. Yeah, it was all Healy.
And that's great when the refs can have some consultation and go, no, I got a clear vision of it. It came off Froling. It's definitely a Southside ball.
And they get another inbound play. They've had a couple of good ones early. Well done, Hillman. Got her hand up. Russell ends up with it anyhow. Out to Potch. Thought about setting the feet and then travelled in the process.
I thought she might have shot that because she just put that one up a little bit earlier.
That was her first thought, wasn't it? Hence the travel.
Exactly.
She was going to put the shot up and then decided to drive. 6 minutes to play in the opening half. Boomers by a point. They've led for most of the game thus far, but only by 5 is the biggest margin. Well done, Russell. Arrived quickly on Reed, who gathers it back in. Shot clock to single digits for Canada. Hillman with the screen on Rochi. Kicks it wide. Reed from downtown.
I mean, I thought that she was in her, Jordan was in her active, shooting it, and just made a great pass out of the corner of her eye. I saw her teammate. Tara
Reed's come off the bench. She's got 8 points to lead the game for Melbourne. What an impact she's had in her first game back after clearing concussion protocols. Rochi to Cole. Mercedes is wide open. Rattles around, and a good board there from Keely Froling. Hillman inside for her first points of the night.
I have to say I'm really impressed with the way that last defensive phase where they really went around Melbourne, really played some great defense.
Timeout midway through this second term. Melbourne 33, Flyers 27. ESPN's WNBL Finals thanks to Foot Locker.
Three-point shooter, you're there and you go back. We leave the layup if we have to here, okay? You're going to go hip next play. Crowley, get yourself on this side. Going to go hip here. Roll hard. We've been getting a mismatch anyway. You might get the inside straight away here. All right, everything's fine, but let's not break down here defensively here. So we're going to run hip. We're going to get a stop. You've got Canada. You've got Reed. I'm not sure. I think you've got Mon here. Here we go. Get on the boards. Rebound for us. Get on the boards.
Boomers by 6. This is game 1 of their best of 3 series. This semi-final, the winner to play the winner of the Townsville-Perth series, which tips off tomorrow night here at 7 p.m. Eastern as we head courtside to Candy.
Yeah, listening in on Chris Lucas's timeout, he said he's really happy with the tempo of the team for this game when they're making shots. But when they're not and they're on the other side, he really needs them to slow down their game. So let's see if we can see that in this quarter.
Thanks, Candy. We hit the halfway mark of the second term. Rochi pops it in over the top. Jackson. Lovely. Made a living out of it for many years, Lauren Jackson.
I always refer to that as that's just muscle memory for her, just catching it and turning and shooting.
A little bit of fadeaway, impossible to defend. Canada, Froling, had some good moments. Here's Hillman to Conti. Will she drive? She wraps around. Reed's been everywhere. Reed's been hot tonight.
What a great result to pass it to Tara Reed, waiting, sitting in that corner and getting that release.
Having an impact in her first WNBL final and won. Leilani Mitchell drives to the hoop, draws the foul. And Tessa, two evenly matched teams. You look for those role players like a Tara Reed can be the difference in a big game like this.
Absolutely they can. I think that's the scariest thing about both of these teams because they have players that can just step up whenever they need. And it's hard to defend, to be honest.
Leilani Mitchell's had a super back end of the season. Great season right across the board. She's just a winner.
Well, I think she was a game changer for me when she moved into that starting lineup. I think that just gave them a whole different look.
Absolutely. Their season really took off from there, didn't it? Now they're getting great production out of Maddie Rochi as well as Leilani Mitchell. Rochi now tries to step through on Canada. He gets a hand in there. It remains a Southside ball.
Well, the thing is with Rochi and Mitchell is that both can handle the ball. They can, as I said, they can, you know, one can score, one can move the ball, call the play. So they really complement each other.
Reed with 11 points. Froling with 7 for the Boomers. Well, Mitchell's got 8 for Southside. Here's Rochi, Russell, Cole for 3. Off the front of the ring. Rochi scraps for it, keeps it alive. Jackson, shot clock to 10. Russell to Mitchell. Jackson wants to work on Blitzarves. Two players who know each other very well. Canada with some speed. She draws a foul on Beck Cole.
And I think that's the style of game that Melbourne have to play, that they have to, you know, even there is a score, they have to push that ball at every opportunity, test the defense. You know, you look like they're back, they're set, but they don't have their feet. They're not quite in position. If you keep attacking them, chances are you're going to get a foul called.
Ball movement tonight on offense has looked more fluent than it has for much of the season. Canada with a tough finish.
I think I saw a move like that on the highlights reel with her at the MVP award. She just can find a way and a means to score.
Just manages to somehow twist her body in midair, doesn't she, Laurie, and stay balanced when it looks like she's kind of heading in the wrong direction. And there's Mitchell again causing some trouble. It was Maddie Rochi up against Amy, her sister-in-law. And Maddie will go to the line. 76% free throw shooter throughout her career. And 76 this year as well. So very little in this game. Flyers have led by 1 point. Melbourne have led by 7. It's a one-possession game with 3 minutes to play in the opening half. Rochi to Conti. Canada just finds a way. Only needs half an opportunity, Tessa, and those first couple of steps are so quick.
She's so quick, and then it's even scarier when they get a defensive stop and then you see her in transition. That's a scary look.
Mitchell.
Unless you're a Melbourne Boomers fan.
Working on Conti.
That's great.
Lovely finish from Leilani. She's in a double figures. She's got 10. Jackson's got 9. Canada this time sets up from long range.
Wow, that did everything but go in.
Mitchell to Rochi. Maddie wants to put it on the floor, create some space. Leilani sets up. Nice ball movement from Southside.
She just comes off that with such poise, and as she's coming off it, she's looking, should I pull up? Is there a teammate that's open? Is the roller open? Is it somebody on the wing? And she does it with such ease and confidence, Leilani Mitchell.
She just processes it all in half a second and makes the right choice more often than not. Scores a level. Froling, Canada. Inside. Foul called on Mercedes Russell. Not thrilled with the call. Second personal on Mercedes Russell.
Russell doesn't have any points so far this game, which is highly unusual, which to me means that the Boomers are really focusing on her, trying to stay in front of her on defense, pushing her out of the laneway.
We've spoken about the battle of the bigs. Well, Naz Hillman just 2 points, Mercedes Russell none. Blitzarms, the bounce pass inside. Rochi, just a little short, keeps it alive herself. Back out to Sarah Blitzarms. Froling thought about the three. Back to Sarah. Canada tries to shake loose. Goes to Blitzarms. Rochi in the corner. It was an important hand in there. It just broke up the play.
Oh, she got out of jail there because the clock was ticking down. She really had nowhere to go. And Ernst was trying to do the right thing by cutting off that baseline, but just didn't get there in time.
And she was on the move.
Yep.
Moving screen. Foul against Carly. Got Amy Rochi out of jail, as you mentioned. Tara Reid back into the game. Leads it with 11 points for Melbourne. Mitchell's got 12 for the Flyers. Wallace the inbound. Oh, well played by Dickey. That was brilliant. Can't finish though. Carly turns it into 2. Southside with the biggest lead of the night. Timeout call. With just under a minute and a half to play in the opening half. Tessa Lavey, Laurie Chiswick. What do you make of it?
Well, I love actually what Melbourne's doing defence. You talk about Mercedes Russell not having a score on the board, and it's because of their rotations. Melbourne's clearly focused on that rotation during this week, and they're doing a really good job of that.
Let's take you inside the Melbourne huddle. Here's Chris Lucas.
You need to screen for each other to get people open. They're blowing everything up. That's just lazy. Okay? Our defense is our problem. But we have to be solid here for a minute and a half as a group. Terrible. Come on, be disciplined. Run a standard loop. Loop this down. Opposite. Jackson's opposite. So bring that. Wally, dribble entry at JC. She's got the catch. Okay? Then bring her into it. Let's have a look at it. You run it the other way so she's on the right hand. Jackson's opposite.
They are the #1 defence in the competition. Chris Lucas wants them to get back to that. That timeout brought to you by CTM Sport. Leave the hassle of off-court arrangements to CTM Sport, the expert in sports travel management. Get the winning edge at ctmsport.com.au. Just under a minute and a half to play. It's the Flyers by 2 points. Candy Hertz was with Cheryl Chambers.
Yeah, there's a real positive energy in this in that team at the moment. They're really happy with the D that they're playing. They do want to spread the floor a little bit more, so that's the one bit of feedback that came through.
Candy, 2-point game. Wallace back into the action for Melbourne, her 3rd game back after that knee injury, which has sidelined her all season. Well done by Rod. She puts Wallace under pressure, hangs on to it, shot clock to single digits. Froling steps back on Jackson and makes it. Unorthodox but effective.
That's a good way of putting it, Jason.
I could see from your flinch, Laurie. Mitchell. Ernst shows it, wants to go. It's short. A scrap for it, and Blitzarms will come up with it for Melbourne.
You can just see the blocking out by the Melbourne Boomers.
Reid, full of confidence, feeds Froling, who draws a foul.
And again, that's that push. Good stop at the other end. Good block out. Get the ball in the guard's hands. Push it up the floor straight away. Tara Reid drew that foul, and then Froling went up strongly. And sorry, she drew the defender, and then Froling drew the foul.
Julie Froling, 11th season in the league, 71% free throw shooter. Her first season with the Boomers, playing game 169 tonight. Melbourne by 2.
Keely Frawling is one of those players that you talk about, you know, the battle of the big. She has always played as an undersized big and just done a tremendous job, whatever team she plays in.
Cheryl Chambers described the Melbourne rebounding lineup as small but sneaky. Gets the job done. Number 1 rebounding team in the comp. Russell. Mitchell has been dynamic as always. Under some pressure here from Frawling. Dickey gathers. Baseline. Good.
She has been so good coming off the bench, Dickey, whether it's playing a defensive role or scoring. She has been sensational for the Flyers.
Final play. Chance for the Boomers to regain the lead at the half. Canada wants them to clear out some space. They give her that space, and she punishes them. Half-time at the Boombox. Game 1 of this best-of-3 semi-final series. Melbourne 47, Southside 44, Tessa Levy.
I absolutely love that by Canada. You know you're in trouble if she's got the ball and there's 5 seconds left to go, you're in trouble. But she made that clutch shot.
So it was Melbourne by 2 points at quarter time. They lead at the half by 3. A relatively high-scoring game, Laurie, 47-44 at the major break.
Well, considering we talk about Melbourne being the best defensive team, it is 44-47, but I feel like the defense is generally quite good, but some of the shooting has been excellent. Some of the ball movement has been really good.
Shooting at a very, very good clip. Melbourne going at 60%, led by Tara Reid. She's got 11 points, and she's with Candy.
This is everything we'd expect from a semi-final. What an amazing matchup it is between these two teams. You're definitely setting the pace, but right now they're on second chance points, 13 they've got from that. How do you limit that next quarter?
Yeah, I think from the get-go, you know, we didn't box out and they got a lot of offensive rebounds. So I think if we just shut that down, you know, we can get a bit of a lead and then just maintain it. You know, finals time is so much fun and such a good crowd that showed up.
Well, it's great to know that you're having fun. Barely any timeouts, though. Wasn't even one for the first 15 minutes. What do you think Coach is going to say now that he's finally going to get you guys and some time in this break?
Yeah, I think just need to settle down a bit. Just play at our pace. You know, Flyers are such a fast team. So, you know, just keep to our pace and keep executing. We should be fine.
Well, it's great to have you back from protocols as well. And congratulations on your start tonight.
Thank you.
Half-time at the Boombox. It's Melbourne by 3 points. Melbourne 47, Southside 44. Coming up, our WNBL semi-final halftime show. Thanks to Foot Locker. As we head to the break, here's our top 5 plays from round 15. the first American player to win the award. Now, Kelsey Griffin, born in America, but was naturalised in Australia when she won it. So incredible to think after all these years, Laurie, that's the first import to win the Susie Batkovic medal.
And we've had some amazing imports grace our competition over the years, and very deserving, though, Jordan Canada, for what just the way she plays and the sort of competitiveness and leadership that she brings to that Melbourne Boomers team.
Let's take a look at all the winners. Congratulations to everyone. It was a fantastic night in Melbourne. The WNBL Awards for 23-24, Jordan Canada taking out the MVP. Leilani Mitchell was Sixth Woman of the Year. Alex Sharp, the Breakout Player of the Year, and Lauren Nicholson, Defensive Player of the Year. Shannon Seabohm, Coach of the Year for the fourth time, just the second man to do it after Tom Maher. There's your first and second teams. The fan MVP for the first time was Jade Melbourne, and the Community Award went to Courtney Woods. Laurie, some great names there.
Oh, there are, and you know, the two teams are fabulous, but a couple of things that stand out for me is Alex Sharp. I just thought her move to Canberra has been just really great for her, and she really blossomed in that team in her leadership role. And also Loz Nicholson. How great to have a player that's the best defensive player in the league, also top scoring for your team. She's a great player.
Bit of talk around, Tess, the top five in the MVP, all guards, no bigs in the top five. As a guard, you're probably happy with that. What do you make of it?
Yeah, Jace, that's not fair to ask me that question, but no, obviously very excited for them, and they've had a great season this year, so very happy for them and the sneaky guards getting in there. I love it.
Very diplomatically answered. Tessie, you're learning very quickly. Well done by you. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. It was a fantastic half of basketball, everything we hoped it would be. It was the Boomers by 2 points at quarter time. They lead by 3 at the half. Laurie Chiswick, what have you made of it?
Well, to be honest, for the Boomers, Chris, we know they're the best defensive team, and Chris wasn't that happy. He wanted more defense, but I like the way they're been rotating. They've been talking. They've been really moving well on defense, and then when they do get a good rebound or a good stop, they are going. They are pushing the ball up the floor.
Yeah, I really enjoyed what the Boomers have done, but for me, the Flyers, the person that sort of stood out was probably Leilani. I mean, she's taken control of this game. She's shot open shots when they've needed it, but she's also been that general. She's telling them where to go and what to do, and yeah, I've really enjoyed that from a point guard position.
We speak about the importance of point guards, Tessa, and it's great to have you here to analyse and break both down. They do have that calmness about them, don't they? Leilani Mitchell on one side, Jordan Canada on the other. They seem so certain of their movements, they just glide around and they control the floor.
Yeah, there's a big responsibility on the point guards. I mean, they're an extension of the coach out on the floor, and you have to know the plays inside and out, and you have to tell the players exactly where to go, and they're not in the right position. You got to tell them that.
Leilani Mitchell with some magic in that first half, Laurie. We know she's well capable of it. She's just a winner.
Well, she's a great decision maker. She's a great finisher, great three-point shooter. She catches that, does not need any time or space to get that off. But I just like, and I said, a game changer with her in the starting lineup. I like the tempo of the game when she's out there, and I just like her style and what she brings to that team.
3-point game at the half. The Boomers lead. Third quarter action next. This is game one of the semi-final series, thanks to Foot Locker. Half-time at the Boombox, game one of this three-game, best-of-3 semi-final series between the Boomers and the Flyers. And it's Melbourne by 3 points at the major break. Well, Penina Davidson, the longest-serving current Boomers player. She's been on the roster for 5 years, but it's been a really frustrating season for her. She injured her calf mid-year and has had to sit out the back end of the season. Here she is with Candy.
Penina, incredible start for the Boomers, of course, in the lead for 16 minutes and 45 seconds of that first half. What was the feeling back in the rooms?
Pretty good. We know that we can't keep trading buckets, and this team's far too experienced to be doing that, so hopefully make some breakaways and get some rebounds.
And a good chance to hear from Coach. What did he have to say?
Pretty much exactly what I just said, yeah. So we've got to get some rebounds. I think they had too many O-boards and just cover the position play.
And, of course, with you, we're dying to see you back out here. I'm sure you're dying to be out there as well. We did see you warm up with the team, though, so that's hopeful.
Yeah, just taking it day by day. So today was a good day for warm-up.
Well, we can't wait to see you back out there, hopefully, for the next game in this final. Good luck to the team in this next half.
Thank you.
Tessa, she does provide a different dynamic, Penina Davidson, a genuine big body. We spoke about Naz Hillman and Keely Froling both being undersized, but Penina can crash and bash with the best of them.
Yeah, she really can. And the thing I love about Penina, doesn't matter if she plays 10, 20, 30 minutes, she always contributes and she can set a really solid screen. And as a guard, something that I love.
Laurie, here's the top scorers for both teams. Interesting for the Boomers. They're doing it by committee. 11 for Reid off the bench, 11 for Canada, 11 for Froling. So they've got a big, a guard and a bench player, all with 11 each.
Well, and we don't see Hillman on there, as we talked about, who averages 15 points a game for the team and second in for the Boomers. So, but she's still being influential out there. She still is setting screens. I know Chris Lucas talked about setting better screens, not just soft screens, to go at it hard. And so we'll look to see if that happens. But she's still such a contributor regardless of whether she's scoring.
2 points for Naz Hillman to the half. None for Mercedes Russell on 0 for 2 shooting, Tessa.
So interesting.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It really is. I know she's still out there doing the exact same thing she's done throughout the season, but I think it's a credit to Melbourne and their rotations. Whenever she gets the ball inside, they're collapsing on her, and so it limits her options and the move that she can make. We saw in the first play, Canada got a steal and they were off to the races. So I really enjoy what Boomers have done, but Mercedes Russell, she's a great player, so I look forward to seeing what she can do in this half.
So game 2 of this series will be Saturday night at the Boombox, and then game 3, if required, next Wednesday night. The winner of this series will play the winner of the Townsville-Perth series, which tips off tomorrow night at the Fire Pit. You'll see it right here from 6 p.m. local, 7 p.m. Eastern. Game 2 of that series Sunday afternoon in Perth, and then game 3, if required, next Thursday night back in Townsville. Tickets available for all those games at WNBL.basketball, and of course you can see every game of the Cygnett WNBL series live on ESPN thanks to Foot Locker. So Laurie, we heard the message from Chris Lucas at halftime. If you're in Cheryl Chambers' shoes right now, what are you saying to your troops?
Well, I think she'd be pretty happy. A couple of the stats I'd be really happy with if I were her was they've only turned the ball over 4 times. Great taking care of the basketball. And boards 12. So they are going after the boards hard, giving themselves second chance opportunities. That's what they need to continue to do. They just have to make sure that somebody like Tara Reid, they've got to take care of business with her.
Yeah, they're winning the rebound battle 21-14 at the moment. The Flyers, as we get set for second half action. Who can claim first blood in this best-of-3 series? It's Melbourne by 3 points as we get set for the second half. This is ESPN's WNBL Finals coverage, thanks to Foot Locker. Amy Rocci with the ball. Canada, 11 points in the first half. Froling in there, scrapping away, but Rocci comes up with it. Take on Canada. Jackson. Mitchell. Such experience on this team. Inside to Jackson. Will she work on Froling? Looked right, went left, comes up with 2.
There's just not a lot Froling can do. She bodied up. She tried to push her out further from the key, and Jackson just was able to shoot over her.
To a 1-point game. Conti to Rocci, back to Mon. Season opening. Mitchell did well to try and close it down. Mon just floats it over the top.
And Penina Davidson talked about it at halftime. You can't just keep trading baskets back and forth. One team's got to take the ascendancy.
Who will it be in this second half? Rocci versus Conti. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. It's been fun watching them at training the last couple of years at Southside. They know no other way, do they, those two?
They're both such fierce competitors.
Just terriers, aren't they?
And defenders and getting up and in.
Rocci makes the first. As Jasmine Dickey watches on. Rocci to Conti, back to Amy. Stripped away by Mitchell. Froling wanted some movement, now receives the ball, could go herself, it's knocked away, it'll remain a Boomers ball.
Again, great defense by the Flyers on that pick and roll and what they were doing. Really active show by Jackson on the roll. They absorbed it as a defending, as a group.
9 seconds for the inbound play. Canada wants movement. Gets it from Rocci. Leilani in her grill. Canada somehow splits the defence. Well, the elevator doors were closing between Cole and Jackson, and somehow Jordan has managed to sneak through.
Well, I mean, she's so highly intelligent that she knew that they are blitzing, which means they're coming out hard, almost trying to double. And so she was trying to split that defense. She kept her dribble really low and was just able to navigate through and draw a foul.
Fantastic to see the likes of Jordan Canada and Erie McDonald into the league this year. Quality imports from the WNBA. Actually got traded in the same trade between Atlanta and LA, with some draft picks being swapped in there as well. Canada goes from LA to Atlanta. Mary goes back the other way. Conti. Hillman had good position.
I was watching Hillman there, just her movement when she went inside. She positioned herself for an offensive rebound well before that shot had left the hand. She knew that her teammate was going to shoot it, and she got that body position on Russell and forced her to go over the top.
And Tessa, when you're undersized, that's what you've got to do.
Absolutely you do. You tell it as a guard to find the body really early when you're boxing out, because then it gives the bigs no hope of getting that rebound.
Amy Rocci with the long ball. Boomers back out to a 4-point lead. And press on Leilani. Jackson. Back to Mitchell. To the corner. Jasmine Dickey off the bench. Has an impact, just as Tara Reid has for Melbourne.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Flyers here actually use their high-low, because the Boomers are trapping and the high-low's wide open if Mercedes just ducks to the rim, because they're doubling out on Jackson there.
Rocci to Hillman. Off to Canada. Gets past Dickey. Will she go herself? Pops it up to Mitchell. Here's Jasmine Dickey again. Pulls up. It's short. Not unfurling. Had presence in the lane. Canada over the top. Hillman. Mitchell comes the other way. Hillman keeps it alive and feeds Keeley.
Great vision by Hillman just to see her open teammate after she drew the defenders.
Biggest margin in the game, 7 points. It was in favour of Melbourne. They lead by 4 right now. Rocci to Dickey. Jackson versus Froling. There's that move. She goes left. It goes in. Up to 13, LJ. Canada. Rocci, that's her spot. Hits another one.
Well, considering that Melbourne are, up to this game, the worst, shall I say, three-point shooting team in the competition at less than 30%, they are changing that around in today's game.
8 for 16, going at 50% tonight. Russell, Jackson. 2 more for Southside.
There's a little bit more inside, Tessa, that you were talking about. Not so much high-low action, but at least their feet are in the paint and they're taking advantage of their size.
3-point game again. Froling to Conti. Here's Hillman. Thought about the deep 2. Goes to Froling. Rocci comes over the top, but Maddie will clean it up for Southside. 1 possession game as it has been for much of the evening. Rocci to Jackson. Back to Maddie, over the top, Mercedes. Will she work on Hillman? She wants Mitchell. Well done, Nas Hillman. Put the body in. Desperate scramble. Great defence, and again, the smarts and the body use from Naz Hillman.
Really impressive. She's come into this game locked down on defence, and I love that. She's not necessarily being a scoring threat, but that doesn't matter. If you're keeping their bigs to limited scores, that's huge.
She plays with veteran instinct. She's only 23 years of age.
Yeah, you forget that because she looks like she's got a lot more experience than that. And just be interested. We know that she rolled her ankle in the Canberra game and came up pretty sore after that. You know, that may be contributing to her, you know, thinking of passing it off a little bit more rather than going up and scoring herself, because it's really physical inside.
Yeah.
But having said that, defensively, she doesn't look to me like she's taking a backward step.
Jackson, the inbound play. Ernst, and the shot clock expires. Naz Hillman just the one shot in the game so far. Mercedes Russell's only taken 2 at the other end for Southside. Southside crowd getting behind their team at the boombox. It's Melbourne by 3 points as we approach the midway mark of this third term. Reed turns it over this time. Well done, Mitchell. Jackson. Back to Leilani. The press comes again. That leaves Lauren wide open. Foot on the line. Front iron, away comes Hillman. Happy to wait for the support. Froling against Ernst. Puts it on the floor. Keeley does well, gets to the rack and finishes.
Just a little bit quicker with her foot speed, Keely Froling. Able to take it strongly around Ernst.
Nice step from Mitchell. Managed to shake Rochi. Jackson. Ernst. Rochi against Canada. Ernst against Froling. Carly, tough finish. Well done, Hillman. Again, boxing out. Canada go herself. She goes to Naz, who sets the feet for 3.
That was an interesting shot because she's hardly shot the ball all game, early in the shot clock.
Ernst. Mitchell. Probing. Carly thought about the 3. Rochi versus Rochi. Maddie over the top. Nice look towards Ernst. Patient offense. Dickey will be fouled.
Well, both teams' defense, and we saw that on display there for Melbourne, they're taking each other out of their comfort zone. So nothing looks easy out there. There's not easy ball reversals. There's not easy inside looks. And that's a sign of great defense from both teams.
Which is why the shooting percentage is even more extraordinary. Melbourne going at 58.9%. The Flyers are going at 46%, Tessa. The D's been great. At times, the offense has just been better.
Yeah, the D's been really good. I think the ball movement is the thing that I'm most impressed about. Both teams not really getting stuck on one side. They are moving it left to right. So, look, moving forward, I think both teams have got to be pretty happy with their offense.
Jasmine Dickey steps to the line and drains them both. Back to one possession.
Again, no timeouts called so far this quarter.
Barely any in the game. Two coaches more than happy to just let their teams play and work it out on the floor. Wallace. Blitzarves for 3. Away comes Mitchell. Again confronted by Canada. That leaves Rochi open, and she makes it. Big bucket from Maddie. They draw level with 3.5 to play.
Well, right now, it feels like the Boomers are picking their poison, but what a great finish by Keely Froling. But picking their poison with Leilani Mitchell, almost doubling her to get it out of her hands, but she can make some great passes.
Rolling to 17 points. Well done, Blitzarves. Picks it off. Off to Wallace. Can Christie get something going in this third term? Wallace and Blitzarves, the 2 X factors, really for Melbourne. Still got some upside to explore. No idea how Canada got through there. Couldn't quite finish. Found some space where there was none. And forced Ernst into a travel.
She snuck up out of nowhere. Carly thought she was out of the play, and then all of a sudden, bam, she's back.
Just surprised Carly Ernst and just jarred the ball loose. Great heads-up play, Jordan Canada. This game just full of Scrappy, ferociously competitive guards on both sides. It's fun to watch. Blitzarves to Froley, having an impact, as we said, up to 17 points. Canada scoreless in this third term. Wallace against Cole. Shot clock to 4. Will Keeley go herself on Russell? Well done, Mercedes. Turnover comes. Chance for Southside to tie it up or hit the front. Dickey rounds the turn on Wallace. Draws a foul and a little bit of push and shove between Christy Wallace and Jasmine Dickey.
Dickey did a great job bringing that ball up the floor and then just put on some extra speed. You can see there, just exploded by Wallace. I'm sure Dickey thought it should maybe be an unsportsmanlike or intentional. Wallace isn't going to back down. It's finals basketball.
You love to see it.
Referees just conferring here. It's been a free-flowing game. Jasmine Dickey to the line.
So the referees worked out it was just a standard foul called on Wallace.
Just a little warning, say settle down. Good refereeing. Let them play. Calm things down. Refocus on the contest. Jasmine to tie it up, and she does. What a battle. Fired up Christy Wallace. Can she channel that? Made sure she saw that foul. Ernst reaching across. Tempe's just getting a little frayed as the nerves continue to build. Harley Ernst with the help D. Just a bit messy.
That's her third foul.
And also for Bet Cole, as you can see. For the Boomers, Amy Rochi's got 3. Important 2.5 minutes here. Scores level. Game delicately poised. Well done, Jasmine Dickey. Brilliant intercept on Canada. Rochi. Russell. Cole back to Mercedes. Slips the defence and puts Southside in front. Wallace against Cole. Rejected by Beck. Southside getting a bit of momentum. They're getting fired up here.
I think right now I'd like to see Wallace perhaps not have the ball in her hands quite as much. To get Jordan and get Wallace to come off of something that other people have created. It's hard when she's been out that long, you know, to be a primary handler.
Canada back to Wallace. Shot clock to 5. Christie put it up herself. She does. Tough shot. Grazes front iron and away comes Cole. Southside on top right now, you feel. Important couple of minutes here for Melbourne to just hang in. Southside looking to open up a little buffer of their own, heading into the final change. Rochi.
Big cheer with a goal, all right?
Ernst. Cole. Russell against Hillman. Back to Beck. Goes baseline. Back to Mercedes. Worked it well and won. Southside is surging.
What a great little two-man action there between Beck, Cole, and Mercedes. Just a nice pass inside and then a quick pass. Another one, and Mercedes just finishing. And isn't she pumped? I think this is their biggest margin, isn't it, Jason?
It is, and it's the first time really tested that it feels like Southside have been on top for any sort of extended period.
Yes, I agree, Jace. I mean, it's been a really tight game, but the Flyers, they've brought that energy. They almost have that little bit of extra grit at the moment.
Important points required here. And there's the rejection from Russell. Well played, Mercedes. It's been all Southside for the last couple of minutes. Can they come up with some more points? 1:15 to play. Cole to Rochi. Boomers need to stop. Ernst works it with Rochi. Can't finish. Melbourne come up with it. It was an important stop for them. Now they need some points. Bring it back within a possession. Hillman against Russell. Back out to Conti. Now to Canada. Plenty of time, and Jordan settles things down. Realises the importance of this play. Well done, Southside again. Great D. Cole can work it with Dickey, go herself, and Canada rejects.
Oh, she made that look easy, but the timing of that, the effort of that, Jordan Canada was just biding her time and then up in the air.
Got her on the way down, and it was all ball.
Didn't her teammates love it?
Need a bit of energy right now, you feel like. It's been all Southside for the last 4 or 5 minutes. Russell, Rochi, deep three, bang! There's that break we were talking about. Suddenly it's 7 points.
Real important for Melbourne here to get a good look at the basket. There's about a 2-second differential. Use up that clock. Don't give Southside any second opportunities.
Southside will surge to the break with all sorts of momentum. Rochi holds it up, works it with Ernst. This has been brilliant from the Flyers. What a way to finish the third term. Conti from half court, not quite. And Southside have taken control of the arm wrestle in the last 3 minutes of that term. And they head to the final change with a 9-point lead. Flyers 70, Boomers 61. ESPN's WNBL Finals, thanks to Foot Locker. Just sense the momentum before that. There's nothing in this game through 2 and almost 3 quarters. And then Southside suddenly exploded in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that term. Things got a little chippy. And the Flyers used that energy to get on an 11-point run, which took them from 2 points down to 9 points up as we turn for home in game 1 of this semi-final series. Southside 70, Boomers 61. Melbourne must respond. Candy, what did Chris Lucas have to say?
What he had to say to his team was he really needs them to hit those screens harder, look after the basket more, and try and get some stops as a group.
Thanks, Candy. What worked for Southside late in that term, Laurie?
Well, the momentum certainly swung with them, and you get a big shot by Rochi. You get a nice steal. I just thought they were very, very proactive on defense and were anticipating every move that Melbourne made.
Boomers a little stunned. Now they've got to get their feet back underneath them again. Conti, important shot to start the final term. Exactly what they needed. Margin back to 6.
That'll certainly help. Conti came off that screen ready to shoot. You can see they're in a bit of a zone right now. Oh, back to man.
Conti up to 10 points. Ernst, Cole. Can Melbourne regain some momentum here? Shot clock to 3. Dickey's got to put the shot up. Ernst, not quite. Well done, Russell. Had 3 to beat in the air. And she does.
She's somebody that Southside will be happy if she comes alive in the fourth quarter. Not so Melbourne. But that was a nice matchup zone. A little bit of a different look that the Boomers threw out there.
Froling gives away the offensive foul. Wanted the flop call against Dickey. Doesn't get it. Southside ball. Here's another look, Tessa.
You know what, though? If you're Chris Lucas and that's what you've asked for, you're going to be happy with that. You'd rather that than not try and hit that screen.
Not headhunt and really find them.
Rochi to Cole for 3. Feels like every shot goes up right now. Everyone holds their breath. Southside looking to extend it, making a game-winning lead. Melbourne looking to claw their way back, which they can do with a couple of big buckets. Need some stops in between. Conti, Hillman, Canada. Wraps around with speed. Well done, Ernst. Just got a hand in and jarred it free. Kick ahead pass from Cole to Dickey. Back to Jasmine. Back to Cole. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Well done, Canada. Reads the pass inside to Ernst. Will Jordan go herself? She will. Tough finish, won't go. And away comes Rochi. There's Canada lurking again, trying to jar it free. Russell to Cole. Bit of chaotic basketball early in this final term. Cole and Hillman. Beck will want to take her on. Draws a crowd. Ernst wide open. Russell reaches over the top. Biggest player on the court against just about the smallest.
Well, again, that was all about getting ready early and trying to block up. They're in this matchup zone, and oh, Canada found herself on Russell. Just found her body, though, on that shot.
30 centimetres difference between them. Eight-point game. Under 8 to play. This game 1 of a best-of-3 series.
The Boomers have to be careful in that zone. It's really hard to actually find a body and box out. So if you're the Flyers as well, your eyes are lighting up. It's like a free shot at running up and grabbing a rebound.
Well, and also look at the open shot that Ernst got at the three-point line, which you do not want to leave her open.
She's made a career out of it, hasn't she, Carly Ernst? A wonderful career it's been. Canada too much fizz on that for Hillman. Chris Lucas watches on. Game 1 in the balance. They've led for most of the night until Southside made that move late in the third with an 11-point run. Mitchell to Dickey. Russell versus Hillman. Jasmine left alone. Rochi closes out. Jazz comes inside and finishes. All class, Jasmine Dickey. She's got 12 points off the bench. Bench points tonight, 22-13. It's almost the difference in the game.
Dickey's come in and really set the tone on defense. She came in and she made them change shots.
Rolling for a big 3. Back to 7. Keely's had a great night. She's up to 20 points. But she needs some help at the offensive end. Canada and Reed both scoreless since halftime. Dickey, Jackson, 5 seconds. Back to Dickey. Not quite. Melbourne get an all-important stop. Can they turn it into points? Conti blows past Cole. Beck hates the call.
That's Coley's fourth.
What does Cheryl Chambers do? Cole stays in the game. No, she does not. Steps out now after getting some clarification from the referee.
Well, that's the luxury. They have so many great guards. They don't lose anything, whether it's Mitchell, Rochi, Dickey, Cole.
It's quite the rotation, isn't it? Certainly have the squad to challenge for the title. That depth is just so impressive. Canada Wraps around, kicks it out. Conti from long range, makes it. Boomers with a couple of massive buckets. Froling, then Conti. It's back to 4.
That brings them right back into this ball game.
Conti loses her feet. Rocci with a little floater, and she's fouled.
14. Second person.
Well, you think of Maddie Rocci and playing in her 150th game, and to me that demonstrated her experience. She's still, you know, she's got a lot of game, you know, a lot of left in her career, but she went in there to draw that foul. You know, put it up, found herself at the foul line now, but she used all that 150-game experience.
2025, a young veteran, two-time WNBL champion, a two-time team MVP, one with the Caps, one with the Flyers. They lead by 5. Froling goes herself, bit heavy, and Rocci comes up with the board. Rebounds now 32-25 in favour of Southside. We knew it was going to be important. Melbourne, the #1 rebounding team in the comp. Southside have beaten them on the glass tonight. Dickey goes inside. Jackson, the size advantage. Slapped away by Froling. Great work, Keely Froling. Outsized. And then fouled. Really stepping up and showing some leadership here, Keely Froling. The skipper in a big moment for Melbourne. She's been their offense in the second half, Laurie. She's got 9 points in the second.
The way she talked to her teammates there in that little huddle after that foul, you can just see her intention. And that spreads to the other teammates. She wants to get this done. It's only a 5-point deficit right now.
Conti to Froling. There's Canada against Dickey. Jasmine right up there pressuring. Canada gets to the 3-point strike. Froling in there competing. Well done, Russell. Away comes Maddie Rocci. Bustling as always, probing the opposition defence. Conti stepped out to try and steal. Rocci. Dickey. Will she go herself on Hillman? She will. She's come up with some good finishes tonight, Jazz Dickey.
Dickey has been very impressive tonight. Like I said before, she's going to get done on the defensive end, but then she's super aggressive offensively as well.
14 points for Jazz. Nice find inside Froling, and a relatively easy basket for Hillman. They've been hard to come by tonight for the Boomers.
Well, they have been, and I just thought that was better ball and player movement. I thought prior to that, Boomers have been a little bit stagnant, but I liked that sort of movement.
Offensive foul, Mitchell on Canada. Leilani's first. Laurie, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that was a good call. I thought that Jordan Canada just read where she wanted to go and got in her way early, and Mitchell was just trying to find her way, get to a different spot.
Important turnover here for Melbourne if they can turn it into points. It's a 2-possession game right now.
And lots of time left, 4.5 minutes.
Who can execute in that 4.5? Everything's going to run through Canada and Froling, you would think, for the Boomers. Here's Conti. Oh, yes! Car Park Conti!
Oh. Wow, what a timely 3-point shot from Conti.
And the Boomers are back in it. It's a 2-point game with 4:22 to play. ESPN's WNBL Finals, thanks to Foot Locker.
Next time it's a dead ball, I want to go to a zone because all their threes are coming off penetrating and finding the shooters. But that means only off a dead ball. We're in man-to-man next time, but if we get a chance, I'll call 2 and we'll get it. But we're in our man. So don't over-help. She's getting us to help and then she's throwing at the ball, okay? So stay at home with that. I want to go blue next play. Jazz, you're going to be there. Watch What's your name? Loz. Slim. You two are here. It doesn't matter. Go. Get it here. Through. Set a screen. You'll be free. And then, guys, then we need high-low out of that. High-low in the zone. Here we go. Southside.
4:22 to play. Amy Rocci and Mon Conti going at three-point range this year, Tessa. 26% for Amy, 23% for Mon. Tonight, they're 7 for 11 from three-point range combined.
And I absolutely love that. They're not bringing any of those games into this final right now. At the moment, all they're doing is playing what's in front of them, and they're shooting their shots. They trust that they've done the work, and they're making them.
Melbourne with some momentum. Back within 2. LJ to double it.
There you go. We know what a game winner she's been all her career. Why stop now?
Margin back out to 4 with 4 to play. Canada to Hillman. Here's Conti. As we said, hot tonight from long range. Works with Froling, puts it on the floor. Plenty of tall timber to get through. Managed to get past LJ, but LJ comes up with the board. Couple of big plays from the veteran. When we speak of winners, well, 5-time WNBL champion, 2-time WNBA champion. No occasion too big for Lauren Jackson. We saw that at the World Cup. Bigger the game, better she plays. Mitchell. Well done by Reed. Southside ball just kisses the line. So Tarara 11 points in the first half, but hasn't scored in the second half. Neither is Canada, who's turned facilitator in this second half. Tessa, not taking as many shots, just looking to set up for others.
Yeah, I really like that. You're able to get the ball through hands. It makes it really unpredictable for the Southside to defend.
Brilliant from Froling. Took body position, Laurie on LJ.
That's a tough thing, but they're doing a great job of fronting their bigs, and that was a great example. And now can she finish this? She does!
1 point game. Keely Froling on fire. She's up to 23.
Well, we said that she had that glint in her eye and the talk, the way she was passionate about it, and she is showing it there with all her actions.
Rocci to Mitchell. Now it's on Southside to get some momentum back, or at least stem the flow. Leilani draws the foul. So Melbourne led by as much as 7. Southside got on an 11-point run. They led by 9 at three-quarter time, out to a 10-point lead. It's now back to 1. Tessa, what's working for the Boomers?
It's just been a brilliant game altogether, I think. But for the Boomers, the ball movement, and when they come out of timeouts, they're really specific about what sort of shot they want to take. And I think that's worked best for them at this time.
So much experience and composure on this team. Leilani Mitchell. No problem. And Laurie, as a coach, must give you great comfort to have the likes of Leilani Mitchell and Lauren Jackson out on the floor in these big moments.
Well, those are two big-time players that, you know, you'd have to rely on them. Sometimes things, you make a play, you call it, and it gets mixed up, it goes awry. You have those two decision-makers on there, things are still going to happen.
3 minutes to play. Let's listen in to Chris Lucas.
As if they got the double screen, switch like you did, that's fine. We're in Horns Flare. Horns Flare. Okay, so Naz, you go here, and with head pat, the first time you run it, she was wide open, so see the whole floor, all right? Okay, Keely, sprint up, you're out. Mon, you go. All right, set it. All right, jump, stop, kills. Okay, Mon, you go same side as kills so they can't help in. You're here, T's here. All right, defensively, lock down, lock down.
Timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand, powering the WNBL. Cygnett available at JB Hi-Fi, Officeworks and other leading retailers, and of course at cygnett.com. 3-point game, 3 minutes to play. There's our leading scorers. Lauren Jackson's got 17, Keely Froling 23, Reed and Rocci 11 points, 11 also for Canada, so nothing for Reed or Canada in this second half, after they combined for 22 in the first half.
Canada does have a game high 10 assists, though, so you were right when you said she's become a facilitator. She needs to be both. She needs to score herself and facilitate.
Trail by 3. Froling turns it over. Dickey comes up with it again. Jazz with the big plays and the big moments.
She has been an X factor for these Flyers coming off the bench. She is just so competitive. She can play at both ends, scoring and defending. She's been fantastic.
Just known as a big-time player in college. She was the CAA championship game. She had 27 points, 18 rebounds in that one. Steps up in the big moments. Tonight she's come off the bench and had a huge impact with 16 points. Let's have a listen to Cheryl.
We're going to go to a zone for one play, okay? Go to the shooters, though. You top people are shooters. If we happen to get a layup, we've got a rim protector behind us. Only one play. Only one play here. When we get it, we look after it. We go the other end. If we can't call it, let's go. If we can't call it, let's go weak because it'll work against both. But be aware of them getting in the lanes. If you have to back cut and we just play, that's fine. Okay? Doesn't matter if the offense breaks down as long as we look after the ball. Let's get a stop here. Southside.
Well, there we just heard from Cheryl Chambers. 350th game, 3 times Coach of the Year. She's won 2 championships with Sydney. One was Sydney, one was Southside. She is imparting her knowledge in this last 2.5 minutes of this game. But her experience, Chris Lucas's experience, we are witnessing some great strategy by both coaches.
Amazing to think you coach game 350 and you're the younger and less experienced coach in that game. Incredible. 720 games between Chris Lucas and Cheryl Chambers. Hillman on the spin and drops. Three-point game rather, 2.5 to play. Mitchell to Dickey. Jackson, pressure on every play.
Wow, Jordan Canada is just wearing Mitchell.
Dickey, oh, lovely step on Froling who gets a hand in. What a play by Keeley, she looked beaten. Canada, Froling against Russell. Foul call, Candy Ewell with Chris Lucas at the last time out.
I sure was. All he was saying was for Reid to stick tight on Dickey and to watch for the switch.
Jasmine Dickey's just been a matchup headache tonight for the Boomers. Keeley Froling playing out of her skin in this second half.
Well, I feel like every time, whether it's offense or defense, we are mentioning her name and what she's come up with and what she's doing right now.
Takes a deep breath. Substitution called. Tara Reid steps out.
Froling shoots the free throws at 72%.
Amy Rocci back in. This is both. Off Russell. And then off Hillman. Southside ball. Big moment here for the Flyers to push it back out to a 2-possession game. Jackson again with a mismatch on Crowley. And this time she's fouled. And LJ can go to the line. So Crowley misses 2 at one end. Can LJ capitalise at the other?
Really good move by Leilani to go into Jackson early. So came down the court. Jackson made position. She got it to her inside. Boomers didn't have a chance of rotating and helping. And now Jackson's at the line.
34 of 41 for the season. She misses as well. Pressure telling in a final. Bounces in the second. And it is a 2-possession game. Here's that quick step from Canada. Just gets herself open. Rocci. Again, you can see the plan is to go to LJ at every opportunity, Tessa.
Yeah, I'm thinking from a coaching perspective, if I'm the Flyers, I want to go to the most reliable, and I'd be going to Loz or Mercedes. And if I'm the Boomers right now, I'd be putting Bet Cole and Mercedes Russell in on balls because they're both on 4 fouls. They're not going to want to foul.
Canada, Hillman open. Froley. Rocci versus Mitchell. Shot clock to 7. Amy pressed. She's got an option. She does. It's Conti in the corner. Won't go. Jackson comes up with the board and is fouled. And they're in the bonus. Second foul on Nas. So Jackson with a chance to once again make it a 2-possession game.
It's really important now that all the players on the court, both teams, know the score and the time that's left. So if it's the Boomers, you know, if she makes 2 here, they're going to need a 3 and a 2. You just need to be, it can't just be the point guards that do that, because you've seen a couple of times this year where they've needed a 3-point shot and somebody's driven in, so everybody has to be aware.
Jackson makes them both. Four-point game, just over a minute to play. Canada extracts the foul on Rochi. So she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Both sides in the bonus here, Laurie.
Well, you've got to. I don't think that she didn't need to foul there. You know, they don't need to stop the clock. You know, they can back off Canada a little bit. So it was an unnecessary foul. She's a good foul shooter. She's confident. You know, didn't need to send her to the line.
Foul shots get more and more difficult the later the game goes on, Tessa, particularly these sort of games.
Sure
makes the first.
Don't look at me, I'm sweating up a storm here.
We're all holding our breath for each foul shot.
Just to get it back within 2. She nails them both with a minute to play.
Did we expect anything less in this game against these 2 teams?
What a way to tip it off. The Cygnett WNBL 2023-24 Finals Series, thanks to Foot Locker. We won't go inside the huddles out of respect for the coaches in the final 2 minutes. So I will tap into the brain of Tessa Lavey and Laurie Chiswick. Tessa, let's start with the Boomers. If you're Chris Lucas, what are you saying right now?
Well, there's still plenty of time in this game, so I'm telling them to relax, take their time, and I'm telling them exactly what play they're going to run coming down the floor, because I think that's super important. They need to know exactly what sort of shot they need, and if Flyers score, they're going to need a 3 and then a 2. So we'll see.
Laurie Chiswick, from a Southside perspective, what's Cheryl Chambers having to say?
Well, again, it's about shot clock management and making sure they know the time and what. Nobody needs to foul right now. You know, there's still enough time. If that margin extends, yes, then you have to foul. But right now, a 2-point game, so they're going to have to play clean defense again. She'll have called a play, too, that she wants, who they wanted in which hands.
Townsville, Perth, Game 1 tomorrow night at the Fire Pit in Townsville. Tickets available at WNBL.basketball. Every game live on ESPN and KO right through the semi-finals and the finals. Candy Hertz courtside.
Yeah, listening in quickly on the Southside timeout, it was all about rebounds and a really dominant role needed from Russell and Jackson in this next play.
They lead by 2 with a minute to play. It's all about execution from here. Rochi, Jackson, Cole. Mercedes is open. Conti got a hand in. Boomers come up with it. And suddenly, the dynamics change again. Melbourne down by 2. 10 seconds on the clock. Canada. Frolling. Off the iron. Southside fans catch their breath.
So now they do need to foul. Melbourne need to try and steal this inbounds pass, but if they don't get it, they need to foul straight away and send them to the line.
As the shot clock, the 24 seconds is off. And they'll head to one final timeout. Or maybe it won't be the last, but we'll wait and see. Chaz Dick, you can see here, just saying to her teammates, just settle down. Let's be calm. It's a 2-point lead they hold. They've got possession. Laurie, as you mentioned, Boomer's going to have to foul and send them to the line.
And so they'd be looking at who's on the court right now, and I'm sure that Christy Harrow would know in her mind who the least best foul shooter is on the team, and so that's ideally the one you want to foul, but you can't let time click off in order to try and get their worst foul shooter to the line. Sometimes it's just a matter of whoever catches it, you just need to foul straight away.
Well, the lineup they've had on the floor is all outstanding. Cole, 85% career. Mitchell, 89% career. Jackson, 77, and Dickey, 81. So you could happily go to any of them. Tester, if you're Chris Lucas, what's the message?
What's the message? I think we got to foul pretty quickly. You can't let them run down the clock. It's been pretty quick, and then I guess we'll get another timeout and hopefully get time to call play.
I mean, Russell is shooting the free throw at 67%. Ideally.
Here we go. Cole inbound. There's that foul. Lightning quick from Monconti. Canny, you're at the Boomers timeout.
Exactly as it played out, what everyone was predicting. All he was looking for was a steal, a foul, and then hopefully to get to stop the clock.
So Boomers need a miss here. Southside can make both. Again, it becomes a two-possession game. And they did go to Leilani Mitchell, the 89% free throw shooter. 29 of 34 this season. And ice in her veins. Massive from Mitchell. We spoke of those veteran players who step up in the key moments, Laurie.
Well, that makes it really hard for the Boomers now with a two-possession game, whether they shoot a 3 or a 2. 19 seconds. The clock is not in their favor right now. I mean, they'll come down, they'll try and get a really quick hitter, and if they score, it's again try and steal it or get a foul straight away.
It is a game they've had 18 steals in this game tonight, 11 for the Flyers, 7 for the Boomers, Tessa, so it's not off the cards.
It's definitely not. I think still this is anybody's game, but I think maybe the experience from the Flyers might show out here, and yeah, the Boomers have just got to have to get a really quick shot off, whether they go for a 3 or a 2 and then foul.
Can Melbourne come up with something exceptional? They trail by 4.
They'll advance the ball so that the ball will be, in the front court there where they can set up a play, a three-point play. Well, the big thing that the Flyers don't want to do is foul any three-point shot. That would be disastrous.
Any foul at all will send them to the line.
I think we'll see the Flyers switch everything.
It's going to be Froling with the inbound. She's been their dynamite shooter in this second half. Canada. 20 seconds for the Boomers to come up with something special. She blows past, goes to Hillman, and they take 2. Now they need to foul or steal. They foul, and sure enough, the inbound goes to Leilani Mitchell.
Again, they did exactly the right thing. They got a quick shot. They fouled straight away. Now it forces Mitchell to go again and make 2 shots to put the game out of reach. But if she only makes 1, then they still have that 14 seconds to get a 3-point shot up. I'd love overtime. Come on, first game of the semis. Let's go to OT.
It's been a fantastic contest. Boomers led by 7 early on. Flyers got out to a 10-point lead. They had that 11-point run just before three-quarter time. Melbourne have worked their way back in the final term, but down the stretch, the Flyers are holding their nerve.
She doesn't even look like this is just a walk in the park for Leilani right now, these free throws.
She makes them both. 4 clutch free throws from Leilani Mitchell. 12.5 seconds. Boomers need a quick shot, a steal and another shot. Canada needs to put something up in a hurry. Hillman doesn't. Time's going to expire. Froling will put up the 2. And Southside take game 1 over the Boomers. And the Flyers are just 1 win away from their 4th grand final in 5 years. Fantastic game at the Boombox. Southside 90, Melbourne 86.
Well, that was a hard-fought battle like we knew it would be. Both teams going head-to-head. It was just close the whole game. There weren't a lot of momentum swings. It was almost just grinded out each quarter, each time.
20 points for Lauren Jackson. 18 for Leilani Mitchell, including those clutch free throws down the stretch. 16 for Jasmine Dickey, outstanding off the bench. Maddie Rocci worked hard all night for 15 points. While for Melbourne, Keely Froling outstanding with 23. 16 for Mon Conti, including 4 of 9 from long range. 15 for Jordan Canada. 11 each for Rocci and Reed. Southside 90, Melbourne 86. Great game of basketball, Tessa Levy.
Absolutely amazing game of basketball. Really enjoyed it. Credit to Flyers. I think they won it when they needed to. Like that third quarter, you often hear coaches talk about the championship quarter, and the Flyers stood up. And I think their experience showed out again tonight. They went back to the ever-reliable Lauren Jackson when it mattered, and then Leilani as well. Stood up, made 4 clutch free throws.
Was that 3 or 4 minutes just before three-quarter time, Laurie? That was the difference.
Well, and to me, you mentioned Jackson, you mentioned Mitchell, but to me also Dickey. She just came off and changed the dimensions of the game. She was not only defending really well, but her scoring, her anticipation, her ability to get to the rack really brought a lot of energy to that Southside team.
So athletic, the 24-year-old. She came up with 16 points off the bench, 6 of 12 shooting. 4 steals as well. She was really active on defense. So from a Chris Lucas perspective, Tessa, would he be pleased with that performance? Obviously disappointed in the end not to get the win. How do you think they played if you take the scoreboard out of it?
I think they played pretty well. You know, obviously you got to play 4 quarters to win big games like that, and he'll be looking to do that next game. I think Hillman can do a lot more. She did some great things defensively, but overall, pretty well. Yeah, they'll move forward now with this, and on Saturday, be all or nothing.
Maddie Rocci from Werribee in Melbourne's, where she attended the Centre of Excellence in Canberra, spent 4 years with the Caps, won 2 championships, was their MVP in one of those seasons, joined the Flyers last year, won their MVP, represented Australia, still just 25 years of age, hunting her 3rd championship in her 6th season. And here she is with Candy.
Maddie, I don't know if I was watching a game of tennis or basketball. You were trading buckets for so much of that game, but something special happened in that 3rd quarter. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, we know they're a good side and they're going to come out firing for game 2, but if we just had to stick to what we knew was going to work, and, you know, the defensive end is massive for us, and I think once we get stops and we run, I think, yeah, that's where the game broke open.
We're trying to have a serious conversation here, but we have the gorgeous Carly Ernst behind us with her kids. Obviously, this is what it's all about. Of course, the game and winning, but family and friends as well. How was it playing here on this court tonight?
Yeah, obviously a little bit different. Getting used to it now that we've had a few training sessions here. Hopefully we can get a bigger crowd. I mean, obviously it's a Wednesday night, but to see both fans out here on Saturday will be amazing, especially with game 2, and hopefully we get to the grand final series.
Now, of course, you're going to need to go back, watch some tape and make some decisions about next game, but gut feeling, what do you think will be some of those adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to know where the shooters are. I mean, I personally did it myself, but yeah, just making sure that we don't get too deep and closing out to those shooters, and then obviously at the defensive end, knowing the scout.
And congratulations on 150 games. We're so happy to see you back here for game 2 on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Maddie Rocci. As I mentioned, just a winner. Still just 25 years of age, Tessa. Feels like she's been around for longer than that.
Yeah, she's so impressive. And for 25, the amount of teams that she's led from the front and been the main point guard of is super impressive. So I've really enjoyed and can't wait to see what she can do for the next 150 games.
Well, Laurie, we turned up tonight not knowing what to expect, hoping it was going to be tight, tough, fierce, ferocious. It was all of those things.
It was certainly all of those things. Physical, add in that physicality in there, that everybody was desperate for the ball. And it was a really good mixture of high quality scoring matched up with some great defense as well. And yes, they'll be disappointed, but I think both teams can take a lot away from this game.
There's the final numbers. To Foot Locker, on behalf of Laurie Chiswick, Tessa Laby, Candy Hertz, our entire production team, thanks so much for watching. Join us again tomorrow night for Game 1 of the Fire and the Lynx, right here on your home of hoops.